Well, that was really annoying. I've been waffling for about 10 minutes, and then I realised I hadn't pressed record. Look, I don't know if you can see, but I'm blonde, so go figure. So that was interesting. Yes, I swore a lot when I realised. But anyway, this is my hidden agenda I promised. Basically, reason I'm doing this, my comic order is on hold until the 26th because of World Tree. Because I ordered most stuff with the supplier online, and if one comic's delayed, then they delay the whole order what you've placed. So I've got to wait for 2 weeks for this order. Um, so basically, what it is, I'm highlighting a series what I bought the first trade paperback of it in digital format 2 years ago, and then the whole shit hit the fan with Comixology, so I stopped reading digital. And because of all that, with the delays from comics, I've started reading digital again. Basically, filling the gaps for series that what I was really invested with. So, like Stillwater, Radiant Black, etc. I've just managed to get up to present day with those on digital. Because if you just get comics from a month ago, they reduce the price by 2/3. So for an issue, it's £1.27. So, but that's bad advice. So, but it's just a long-winded way of me saying that because of the situation, it meant I was able to try stuff what's been on my tablets unread, and one of them was this series called Philadelphia Volume One by Rodney Barnes and amazing art by Jason Sean Alexander. Initially, I did try and read it 2 years ago when I bought this initially, but I kind of gave up after halfway through the first issue. And I don't know why, it's just been my headspace. But I persevered this time, and after the first issue, it clicked, and I got so invested. I bought the next two books, next two volumes, so that's up to issue 18, and I've got issue 19 now, and I think there's about 32 issues out so far. And I must get some more later on this week, but it is amazing. It was one of the freshest takes I've seen on the vampire lore in a long time. It's got gorgeous artwork by Jason Sean Alexander, who did Empty Zone years ago on from Image. Really, really dynamic. Even the covers as well. There we go. That's all I saved. So it crap. I think you saw my email address, but fuck it. don't don't send me emails, please. But what was I saying? Braveheart again. But yeah, so it blew me away. It has the same level of world building what Sandman did, where the Kim is just a loose character, and they just highlight this loose character for a bit, maybe just like a minor character, and then their storyline comes back a few issues later, and you think, so that's why. And they bring in something what I've never seen in a vampire comic. They bring in spirituality, um, and they bring in urban culture. They bring in pop culture. For example, there's a reporter, and it's Kolchak. He shouts the questions to the mayor, and it's Kolchak. He's got his hat on. They even call him Kolchak, and he's got his reporter's jacket on. And they also have Robert Neville mentioned, who's the neighbour of one of the main characters, a senior police detective, and he's boarding up his windows to stop the vampires coming in. And this senior detective says, "Oh yeah, he does this every night." He says, "I feel so sorry for the guy because they keep on tearing the wood away." And then he says his name. He says, "That guy, Robert Neville, he'll outlive us all." And I'm thinking, I've heard that name. And then it clicked. It's like, from I Am Legend. He's the main protagonist from I Am Legend. I was like, oh my god. So my brain was going bing, 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 bing. I was loving all the pop culture references. And it was good pop culture references. It wasn't just the current today references. It was showing somebody who's so invested in classic horror tropes from the 70s, from the 60s, not just the current X Files is 90s, but not just the current things, what are the flavour of the day at the moment. Um, and like I said, it ties in threads of spirituality. So it brings up the question: does a vampire have a soul? Which normally in horror comics, vampires just seem like these creatures, these undead creatures, but they never bring up the question of, Do they still have a soul? Do they still have spiritual beliefs? But this addresses that in a very natural way. And what I love about it, I don't want to go into the characters too much because the character reveals as well are like your jaw drops like when you find out what who they really are. So because the story it's set in present day, but then it can do a flashback to centuries ago, and then it puts you back to the present day, and it goes back to with another character to maybe 60 years ago, and so on and so on and so on, and it's like a jigsaw. It's like initially like looking at it, it's like oh this scattered jigsaw, but then you can see oh yeah they're putting all the pieces in its place now, and it's so masterfully done, and it's all reaching a crescendo. So there's backup strips in the comic as well. Do not ignore the backup strips. They tie in later on very heavily. They do a very natural way of introducing a new bunch of characters, which increases the lore. It broadens the horizon not just from the vampire mythos, but other classic horror tropes. So they bring that element in, and they also touch on with the spirituality thing. They also bring on things like the ancient ones, and Satan and Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad and people like that, and it's just like what. I love it. For a comic that I gave up on after 8 pages initially, now I am so deeply invested. I'll put this up as one of my favourite reads of the year. I'd say it's a 9.5 out of 10. It could be a 10, who knows. The artwork is chef's kiss. The writing is so good. No dialogue is wasted. It's not Chris Claremont's overload. And it's not pointless Brian Michael Bendis talking heads for 5 pages, 5 issues even. Everything is streamlined to what's essential. The flashbacks, they are essential, but they're not padded out, they're not flabby. They're normally done and dusted after 2 pages, and it brings you back to the current storyline. It's just so rich. It's one of the best reads I've read in a long time. It's one of the best reads. It's one of the few reads that's left me grinning and going, shouting at it. Like I said, when I've seen the references of different people, it's just I'm shouting. But even and there was appearance by Jesus. The way it's such a fresh take on Jesus as well. I'm like, what? So honestly, I've not enjoyed a comic since as much as this in such a long time, and in a way, I'm glad I'm getting it in digital format because the art really pops. Because sometimes when it can be a page with a lot of heavy ink in and then a very dark colour, some of the detail can be lost on the printed page, but when it's on digital on a tablet, it's very clear and you can see it all, so that's quite rewarding. I would say try it. If you're very unsure, if you don't want to invest in the first trade paperback, and like I said, it's about 32 issues deep as well now. Digitally, you can get the first issue on Amazon for free. So I would say try it that way, and then dive in either digitally or get the trades, or if you've got the money, go on eBay and buy the physical comics. But yeah, so refreshing. My next video, I don't know when it'll be, might be next week, could be this week, I don't know, depends how I feel. I just started work, my new job this week just gone, and it's 4 weeks of quite intensive training, so each night I'm just like, ugh. I mean, I've looked like such a slob as well, been horrible. Fortunately, I've decided to make myself look kind of human today. So my energy levels haven't been really up to doing much afterwards, just been basically binging on a film every night, and reading Philadelphia. So my next one will be looking at new releases for July, the new number ones. So that being all the major labels I'll look at. So either this week or it could be next week. Depends, like I said, depends on me. My physical comics won't be an unboxing until after the 26th because of World Tree being delayed. It means because I get all mine from an online supplier, if one comic is late, the rest of the batch that you've ordered is held until they get that comic in and they ship them all out together. So, but it's cheaper than buying it from a local shop, so got to. I still go to my local shop and support them, but there you go. So yeah, Philadelphia, brilliant. My next digital review will be in a few weeks. I've got Stillwater up to 17. I've just got to get 18, which is the final issue. When I've got that, I'll read it and then I'll give my overview of the whole series because it's another good series by Chip Zdarsky. I think it's Ramon Perez on the artwork. Could be wrong. So that'll be it. this is waffly, not as waffly as my one that I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So again, apologies for the voice, and I shall see you soon. Bye. Bye.